Not every creature is born to become a predator. Some exist because nature has turned their very body into a fortress. Every scale, every quill, and every shell is the result of countless life or death confrontations. In Africa, every attack may come at a price. And sometimes, the most dangerous prey is the prey that doesn't run. Amid grassland, a young lion is pouring all effort chasing a buffalo. But the distance keeps widening. Finally, it stops, panting heavily amid sea of grass. Right then, a small dark shadow slowly walks across the open space. Doesn't flee, doesn't show fear. To the hungry hunter, that's like a meal delivering itself to its mouth. Lion immediately changes direction, silently closes in. The other creature still calmly keeps walking. Only when few meters remain, its entire back suddenly bristles upright. That's a porcupine. But the naive young lion has never encountered this species. In its eyes, this is only a slow meal, and it swipes a paw forward with full confidence. And that's its first mistake in life. The moment the paw touches that back, rows of quills have already embedded deep into the pad. The more it struggles, the deeper they sink. Lion is bewildered, confused. It tries using teeth to pull out the quills. But now lips, gums, and tongue are stuck with a fresh batch of new points. Porcupine calmly turns its back toward the enemy, raises quills higher, then shakes lightly. Sound of quills rasping each other rings out dry as a warning needing no roar. Only at this point does the young lion finally understand. It gives up, turns walking away in humiliation, each step sending a sharp stab of pain from its paw. And that is the most damaging thing. Quills are nearly impossible to fall out on their own. They'll follow lion with every step, turning both hunting and eating into torment. Just few days from now, those puncture wounds will begin swelling. A swipe seeming harmless has become a price that lion must carry for very long. While porcupine will still calmly walk amid grassland, continuing its own journey. The confrontation just now seemingly not worth it, turning to look back. Lion fades into distance, muzzle still injured. On these plains, there are creatures needing no flight, because their bodies are already a warning. While lion still drags along with injury-covered body, not far away, a creature slower than every predator is leisurely crossing the grass patch. That's a leopard tortoise. No fangs, no speed. Throughout entire life, the only thing sheltering it is the thick dome shell covering its body. And that shield is about to be tested. A black-backed jackal has just discovered it. Hearing footsteps closing in, tortoise immediately withdraws head and all four legs inside shell. Immediately, the jackal tries every method. It scratches, bites, then tries to flip prey upside down. But the rounded shell keeps slipping from teeth, not leaving a single gap. Unable to break through armor, jackal switches to waiting. It lies crouching right beside, watching for tortoise to appear. But inside, prey stays motionless as stone. However, time is not on its side. Sun grows increasingly harsh, jackal breathes fast from thirst, while tortoise lies perfectly cool inside its shell. And in the end, thirst itself forces the hunter to give up. It runs off to find water. Tortoise preserves its life without launching a single strike. Only when footstep sounds completely vanish does shell slowly crack open. Tortoise leisurely continues its journey, carrying the fortress that once again saved its life. Tortoise has just disappeared behind grass patch, when under nearby acacia, another creature also ambles foraging. It has no shell, but wears overlapping armor covering everything. That's a ground pangolin, entire body covered in hard keratin plates, layered like roof tiles. Encountering danger, it curls into a mass with almost no weak point remaining. A leopard quickly discovers the prey. It lunges to pounce, but pangolin has already curled tight. Claws strike armor layer, producing a dry thudding sound. Leopard tries flipping it sideways, tossing it around, then biting from multiple angles. But armored mass stays absolutely sealed. After several failed attempts, it steps back few paces, then disappears behind low grass. But that's just a trap. Leopard hasn't left at all, only lies hidden still, eyes glued to armor mass, waiting for prey to think danger has passed. And sure enough, after a quiet spell, pangolin slowly loosens its coil. Long snout cautiously pokes out to probe. Just a little longer, entire body will fully emerge. Right then, leopard from hiding spot springs out, but pangolin has reacted in time. Swipe only grazes tail, exactly at moment armor slams shut again. This time, pangolin absolutely refuses to open. Leopard stares few more seconds, then truly leaves. Even its strong jaw set, defeated by stubborn armor mass. Only when grassland has nothing left but wind sound does pangolin continue its journey. A perfect scale layer can still show a gap, but just needing to close in time, chance still remains. Suddenly, from northern bushes, rings out a series of hoarse, raspy growls. That sound doesn't belong to lion, nor hyena either. That's a honey badger, busily digging into bee nest under acacia base, despite entire swarm of bees covering its head and neck. Few would guess. Most formidable thing about this species is exactly its skin. Honey badger skin is both thick and tough, and strangely loose, almost not adhering to body beneath. Right then, a spotted hyena appears, many times the honey badger's size. Seeing prey absorb beside bee nest, it thinks this is an easy meal. What folly. It lunges, clamping tight onto opponent's scruff. But right in that clamp, honey badger unexpectedly twists half its body within loose skin, countering with a set of razor-sharp teeth. Bitten back in sharp pain, hyena hastily releases, startles jumping backward. Now the small creature still stands right there, not retreating at all, even growling in challenge. Then the unexpected happens. Instead of fleeing, honey badger charges straight toward hyena. The large hunter turns to confront, then flees, letting the tiny prey chase after. After driving off the intruder, honey badger calmly returns to acacia base. It digs bee nest, continues eating, despite swarm surrounding it. Nothing seems to trouble it. Fed full, honey badger leisurely departs. Still very far away, where sun-blazing rocks line the southern African coast, a small creature is quietly sunbathing. That's an armadillo lizard, only hand-sized. From head to tail, body covered in sharp spine scales, like armor assembled from hundreds of small pieces. Suddenly, a shadow sweeps across the rock slab. Above, hawk has already locked on target. Safety of rock crevice only few steps away. But instead of fleeing, it bites tight onto its own tail, rolling body into a round ball. Entire soft, vulnerable belly now nestles safely behind a ring of bristling spines. Hawk lands observing. Well knowing prey's sharp spines can injure itself, it quickly abandons and flies off, seeking another prey. It patiently lies still under harsh sunlight, only waiting until hawk's shadow completely disappears from sky before slowly releasing and continuing crawling into rock crevice. Biting its own body to seal shut every weak point. That is one of the strangest self-defense methods ever appearing in the reptile world. Evening gradually descends. Grassland, sparse forest, and rocky shores one by one sink into stillness, closing a long day across the continent. Species we just encountered are all not fast, not strong, nor possessing fangs or claws. Amid a world full of danger, they still survive in their own way. Because in nature, those who endure longest aren't always the strongest, but usually those best equipped to protect themselves. Afternoon sun pours into the Luangwa River Gorge, murky yellow light illuminating vertical rock faces covered in damp moss where space is suspiciously silent. A few kingfishers dive to the water surface, then dart up, only wing beats echoing in the gorge's quietness. Everything else seemingly motionless. On the cliff edge, a lion pride stands close together, heads bowed observing, eyes not on the water, but focused on the individual in danger. Below, among smooth rocks near the water's edge, a lioness struggles to climb up, claws gripping the surface, but continuously slipping, getting closer to dangerous waters. Lions are large cats dominating many of Africa's dry ecosystems. With male lions weighing up to 180 kilograms, they top the food chain wherever they reach. But all those advantages are designed for flat terrain. On steep, slippery rock surfaces, features once advantageous become disadvantages. The lioness weighs about 130 kilograms, pulling her own body up the sloped face. Gravity quickly overwhelms pulling force, making efforts extremely exhausting. She fell while pursuing prey over the cliff edge, a small miscalculation leading to a long slide, placing her in a life-threatening situation. On the bank, the lion pride still observes. A low roar rings out, but no individual descends, because they know this rock face is a one-way trap. Below, the female tries to grip again. Front legs find footing, but the surface is unstable, pushing force insufficient to hold the body, and she slides down again. Distance to water surface continues closing. Current position not only disadvantageous in terrain, but also conceals another danger. A small ripple spreads from downstream, not from wind, not from current, but a sign of a creature slowly approaching. The lioness recognizes immediately. Eyes lock onto two black points floating on water surface. Alarm, instinct activates. Sounds emitted carry obvious tension. Two black points motionless like rotten logs gradually surfacing, but hidden below is a 4-meter body. The real danger has appeared. And it didn't come alone. Ripples appear from different directions, all heading toward the same point, the cliff base where the lion clings. To understand the danger below, one must know that the creature patiently waiting has existed millions of years, with body structure evolved optimally for hunting. Nile crocodiles reach 5 meters long and weigh over 700 kilograms, and possess bite force among the strongest of animals still existing on Earth. Their tactics rely on ambush, lying motionless for hours, then attacking extremely fast, optimizing energy and ensuring high success probability. After locking jaws, crocodiles drag prey underwater and perform the death roll, inflicting serious damage, and prey quickly loses resistance capability. They can fast for months. Each meal is a long-term investment, so when there's opportunity, they'll thoroughly consume prey. On the rock face, the lioness understands the situation clearly. Above is an unclimbable slope. Below is enemy territory. Now she's trapped between two threats. She moves horizontally along the narrow rock strip, seeking climbable points, each step carefully gripping wet rocks, eyes not leaving water surface. Each step is hope, but also risk. Below, the crocodile pod maintains stable distance, moving parallel. They're not rushing to approach, only maintaining position and waiting for more favorable conditions. The lion discovers a lower section of cliff, but must cross a 2-meter wide shallow water stretch, a short distance, but full of risk. She suddenly lunges down, racing quickly across the water. And in the same moment, a crocodile surges up. Jaws snap shut right where she just left, only one beat late. The lion grips rocks on the other side, struggling to pull herself up. The crocodile watches from behind underwater. This time escaped, but terrain on this side still slippery and steep, no easier at all. She continues climbing short sections, then sliding down again. Each time losing momentum, position gets closer to water surface, and safe distance gradually closes. The third slip makes hind legs touch water. The lion flinches, jumping back up, but too late. A crocodile lunges, jaws reaching for hind legs. The lion roars, concentrates force on front legs as anchor points. Shoulder muscles tense, resisting overwhelming pulling force from water surface. The struggle increasingly intense. The crocodile bites and slips. The lion escapes. The lion springs onto the rock strip, breathing heavily, while the crocodile sinks, carrying anger. The lion gradually tires and cannot stay in one place long. For crocodiles, that's a signal. They adjust positions, tighten encirclement, distance only, meters remaining. The lioness has no choice left. Cannot climb up, cannot stay. Survival space shrinks by the minute. She moves faster, abandoning fear. Each step, each short leap utilizing every remaining foothold on the slippery rock strip. The crocodiles no longer wait. They simultaneously surge up when the lion crosses the narrow water section, jaws snapping shut consecutively in splashing water. The lion reaches the final rock outcrop. Ahead is the only gentle bank, but separated by a deep water section, while predators have closed in from behind. She looks at the shore, looks at the water surface, then looks at three shadows closing in and jumps down. 4 legs touch water. The lion begins swimming as fast as possible toward shore. Distance, gradually from shore, legs still touching bottom. But behind, crocodiles are accelerating. The largest submerges, disappears. This is the most dangerous moment. The lion nearly reaches shore. Front legs grip earth, pulling body up, but injured hind leg lacks strength, making her slide down, and that's all the crocodile needs. From behind, a crocodile surges up and locks jaws onto the rear section. Massive pulling force jerks the lion back into the water. The second crocodile immediately lunges in, clamping tight on front shoulder. 2 pulling forces from 2 directions make the lion sink half submerged. Only head and 1 front leg protrude. The death roll begins. Lion's body dragged completely under. Water surface churns violently, then gradually settles, returning to initial calm. Water surface returns to stillness. No more sounds or movement, only a few small ripples fading on the surface. The grassland ruler has sunk from here. Above, the lion pride stands silent. Calling sounds echo down, no response. Only wind blowing through the gorge echoes back. After several tries, they fall silent. After a few minutes, one by one, leaves the cliff edge. They leave without looking back. On the plains, prolonging loss is also putting oneself at risk. Below the Luangwa River, crocodiles drag prey to the deep bottom, holding it for natural decomposition process before beginning the meal. Nile crocodiles can fast for months, and today's meal is a 130-kilogram lioness, enough to feed them for many weeks. The confrontation closes according to environmental law. When entering water, advantage belongs to water-adapted creatures. On that territory, all land advantages lose value. The lion pride loses a member. Movement rhythm and behavior will change in following days, reflecting adjustment to risk. Dusk arrives. Landscape returns to familiar state, leaving almost no clear traces of the event just occurred. The lion pride stops to rest in tall grass area, far from the river. They lie closer together, the gap of one individual becoming obvious in the silent formation. Each encounter leaves marks in blood. Later decisions will change through reflexes formed from experience. Below the river, crocodiles continue moving slowly. Eyes, nose protruding, then sinking back. The observation cycle and endless patience count again from the start. In the Luangwa ecosystem, lions and crocodiles share the food chain apex, each species dominating half the world. When boundaries are erased, advantage belongs to the side adapting better to conditions at that moment. Each rainy season, water rises. Dry season, water recedes. Boundaries continuously change. Encounters repeat. No permanent winner, only temporary adaptation. Today's lioness didn't fail from lack of strength. On land, she's the ruler. But when conditions change, mass and body structure itself become disadvantages. Conversely, crocodiles don't need to be faster or stronger in all circumstances. They only need the right environment, where their advantages are maximized. Sun sets over Luangwa. Onshore, lions rest in tall grass. Below water, crocodiles hide. Two parallel worlds, meters apart, but deciding survival. Tomorrow morning, though one individual fewer, the lion pride's rhythm doesn't stop. They'll avoid the riverbank, continue hunting on grasslands, and remember dangerous boundaries. Night wind blows through the gorge, carrying scents of mud and damp grass. Traces on rocks gradually disappear. Bank edge returns as before. Nature erases what once occurred. Under moonlight, crocodiles hide in flat water. In a world where mistakes mean endings, silence sometimes is the sign of danger itself. End of dry season on African savanna, ground cracked long like old wounds. Grass withered crisp underfoot, while air thickens silence. Each species here has a role, and that role isn't fixed. Today's predator can become tomorrow's prey, if it makes one wrong choice. In this harsh environment, no action is meaningless. And sometimes, a successful hunt is precisely the starting point for an unavoidable failure. Africa doesn't favor the strongest, but chooses those who adapt more effectively. And today, the law will be demonstrated through a small species. Honey badger, small, fierce mammal famous for courage, recognized by Guinness as most fearless animal, ready to confront opponents many times larger. Honey badger skin thick and very tough, enough to reduce effectiveness of strong bites. Loose skin also helps it twist to counterattack right when restrained. Honey badger's front claws long, curved and extremely strong, suitable for digging burrows, breaking beehives or foraging underground, and when needed, it tears through anything blocking path. Mongooses significantly smaller than honey badger, but they rarely act alone. This species' true strength lies in ability to coordinate in packs. In a mongoose pack, usually at least one individual performs sentry duty. It observes from high position and signals when danger approaches. Despite having certain resistance to snake venom, their greatest advantage lies in behavior. Group coordination with astonishing speed and precision. This morning, Entire pack moving toward nearest water source, a familiar route repeated daily and already silently tracked by honey badger. Honey badger doesn't lack food, but this opportunity rarely appears. When pack begins dispersing to forage, young individuals remain, creating dangerous gap. In nature, distance sometimes determines survival, not just between two bodies, but between an individual and pack's protection, and honey badger knows this. Balance in nature rarely collapses through chaos. It usually starts from very small deviation, then spreads faster than any reflex. Honey badger charges straight at target, no circling or probing. That's the hunting method of animal relying on endurance, boldness, and closing speed. Small mongoose pack reacts almost immediately, but still slower than decisive moment. Warning call rings out, but pack still outside support range. Honey badger bites and holds prey's neck or nape, an effective restraint method helping it quickly end attack before opponent can escape. Honey badger doesn't leave immediately, but begins eating on spot. A common choice for confident predators when not sensing clear threat. Not far away, mongoose pack has heard alarm signal. They stop almost simultaneously, then quickly turn toward direction emitting sound. This isn't random reaction, but social behavior reinforced through natural selection. When one individual signals, entire pack immediately coordinates. Honey badger quickly recognizes pack approaching, but it doesn't retreat. Instead, it turns to face, raises fur, and grips food tightly. Mongoose pack approaches at safe distance, not rushing in immediately. They observe, maintain formation, and assess opponent before choosing intervention moment. When honey badger turns back to prey position, two mongooses from behind have closed in. They attack tail and flanks, areas honey badger cannot defend. This is attrition attack type. No single individual strong enough to bring down honey badger alone, but entire pack can force it to continuously expend energy. Honey badger counterattacks fiercely and strong enough to bring down several individuals in short time. But mongoose pack doesn't retreat, nor let formation fall into chaos. This is when numerical advantage begins showing effectiveness. Each eliminated individual almost immediately replaced, while honey badger must bear all pressure alone. Honey badger turns back to prey and continues eating. This is biggest mistake it will make today. While head bowed down, three mongooses attack simultaneously from three directions. Situation changes, not from single strike, but because honey badger, for first time, loses control of fighting space around its own body. Honey badger still hasn't left prey, partly from resource-keeping instinct, partly because it never had to abandon anything before. Today is first time. Mongoose pack doesn't rush in chaotically. They attack in short waves, then withdraw, maintaining pressure without depleting own energy. Through each collision, honey badger's reaction speed begins decreasing very slightly. What naked eye hardly notices is clear enough for entire pack to adjust closing distance. Honey badger begins moving to find more favorable opening, trying to regain initiative. But each gap just appearing is quickly filled by entire pack. Confrontation now no longer revolves around prey carcass. Entire mongoose pack has shifted target from protective reaction to applying pressure until honey badger exhausts. Mongoose pack not panicking, they continue following exact rhythm maintained from battle start. Patience is final and most effective weapon in this species' arsenal. Honey badger still bites several more individuals, but force and accuracy markedly decrease. Wounded ones retreat, while remainder continue applying pressure. This is battle about time, not strength. And in this battle, numbers always beat single individual, however exceptional that individual. Honey badger lowers body longer than normal beat. A declining sign mongoose pack immediately recognizes and exploits without delay. They don't need clear finishing blow. Just maintain pressure long enough, remainder decided by opponent's physiological limits. When honey badger falls again, it still manages to rise. But posture has lost stability, showing body beginning to decline movement controllability. Mongoose pack gives honey badger no rest. Each time it struggles up, entire pack immediately tightens pressure before opponent regains balance. Honey badger still bites back, still growls, and still won't retreat. But now, body can no longer keep up with its fighting will. This isn't simply failure of stubborn individual, but proof of survival law. Collective endurance can wear down even exceptional opponent. After ensuring threat has ended, mongoose pack quickly disperses and continues moving toward water source as original route. Honey badger lies motionless long while before beginning to move again. It's not dead, but clearly exhausted and completely lost situation control. Prey carcass still remains in place, but honey badger doesn't return, remaining energy not enough to exchange for what already cost it too much. Nature doesn't judge. No good or bad guys in this story, only choices and consequences. Honey badger chose to attack pack and failed. But story doesn't stop there. One more severely wounded mongoose individual falling behind, and mourning order seems beginning to reverse. Honey badger recognizes opportunity, stops observing. Though body still hurts and exhausted, hunting instinct hasn't disappeared, only temporarily suppressed. And in those few seconds, honey badger looks at pack, then looks at wounded mongoose. First time today, it steps back without anyone attacking it. Honey badger turns away slowly, not fleeing but also not continuing pursuit. First time that morning, it actively refuses an opportunity. In nature, individual strength always has limits, while collective strength can far exceed individual capabilities when organized effectively. Tomorrow, honey badger will continue hunting while mongoose pack still goes toward water source. Nature continues, not remembering and not judging. But what remains after this morning isn't moment honey badger fell, but when entire pack turned back just from brief signal from wounded individual. Nature answers the question, what's stronger, individual or collective strength? It only presents real situations with unpredictable outcomes. Dawn's light touches the Serengeti plains. Grass lush green after night rain. Air fresh and clear. But this beauty conceals ever-lurking danger. Here, each day is a survival test. Predator and prey, defender and attacker, a battle that never rests. But today, the story isn't about great hunters, it's about a mother and fragile new life that needs protection. This is the story of a rhino calf. First survival lessons from the moment of birth. In the wild world, every small mistake can be paid for with death. The black rhinoceros is one of 5 rhino species still existing on Earth. Weighing nearly 2 tons, standing about 1.6 meters tall, like a living fortress on the grassland. The horn can grow up to 1 meter long, made of keratin, like human fingernails, but hard and sharp as a natural spear. The calf, just 3 weeks old, weighs only about 60 kilograms. No horn yet, can't run fast, completely dependent on mother's protection. Rhino calf survival rate in the first year is only 50%. Lions, hyenas, crocodiles, and sometimes even adult males. The first months are the most vulnerable period. The calf is slow, reflexes delayed, yet curious to explore, easily separated from mother. That's when predators wait. The mother rhino always keeps her calf within her protective zone. The calf moves behind or close beside mother's body, like a small shadow hidden behind a living fortress. Midday, the mother rhino leads her calf to a water hole to drink and mud bathe. But water sources are also dangerous places, where predators patiently wait. She stops before entering the water, sniffs the air, listens to every small sound, eyes scanning around like a living radar in the grassland. In nearby bushes, 3 hyenas are watching. They've been tracking the mother and calf since morning, patiently waiting for the moment the calf separates from protection. Spotted hyenas are opportunistic hunters. They rarely attack adult rhinos, but a slow-moving calf is an entirely different target. The mother rhino senses danger, pushes the calf behind her, assuming defensive stance like a living wall. One hyena tries approaching from the left. The mother rhino pivots, keeping the calf always behind her body, like a rotating shield before every direction of danger. The calf cries out in fear. The mother rhino responds with a deep rumble, like a heavy warning resonating through the hot air. One hyena suddenly charges forward, not aiming to kill immediately, but to harass and test reaction, like a probe piece on the chessboard of survival. But the mother rhino doesn't fall for it. She doesn't chase, doesn't leave position, just pivots with each predator movement, always keeping the calf behind. 10 tense minutes pass. Hyenas try approaching from different directions, but never once reach the calf. One hyena decides to take a risk. It charges straight at high speed, aiming for the small gap between mother and calf. A life or death gamble. The mother rhino reacts almost instantly. 2 tons of muscle launches forward, reaching nearly 50 kilometers per hour like a living tank. The predator can't dodge in time. The horn sweeps and strikes its flank. The 2 remaining hyenas immediately retreat. They understand the balance of power. This hunt isn't worth the price. The mother rhino turns back, sniffs every centimeter of her calf, licks gently as a reassuring gesture. The calf still trembles, but uninjured. First lesson recorded. Days later, a pride of lionesses appears near the foraging area, multiple individuals coordinating the hunt, far more dangerous than solitary hyenas. Lionesses are the Savannah's professional hunters. When hunting as a group, they can surround from multiple directions, cutting off prey's escape routes. The mother rhino doesn't run. Running would expose her back and separate her from the calf. She pivots slowly, keeping the calf at the center like the heart of a fortress. Lions advance cautiously, step by step. They know adult rhinos are extremely dangerous, but the calf is too tempting a prize. The calf is terrified, instinct urging it to flee, but memory from the hyena encounter makes it stay, pressing close to mother's body within the circle of safety. One lioness tries to charge in, lightning fast, but the mother rhino is faster. She spins and thrusts hard. The horn sweeps past, forcing the lioness to leap back. The confrontation lasts 20 minutes. The lion pride tries approaching multiple times from different directions, but the mother rhino's defense shows no opening. Finally, the lionesses stop. Their energy expenditure too great, risk too high. In nature, predators must always calculate. When the lion pride leaves, the mother rhino finally relaxes, breathing heavily, body exhausted, but the calf remains safe. And that's the only victory needed. In the following weeks, the calf grows significantly. It learns to position itself correctly when danger appears and learns to read signals from mother. At 3 months old, the calf has nearly doubled in weight. It runs faster and has better reflexes, but still needs mother like a compass for guidance. Each encounter with predators is a new lesson. In the wild world, experience is the strictest but most effective teacher. But rhinos face greater challenges. Horn poaching, habitat loss, and climate change are pushing this species to the brink. Only about 5,500 black rhinos remain in the wild, down 98% from 4 decades ago, making them critically endangered. Conservation areas are making efforts. Rangers patrol against poachers 24 hours, monitoring each individual to protect both mother rhinos and calves. Rhinos play crucial roles in the ecosystem. When moving through thickets, they create natural pathways, helping many other species access food and water. Thanks to conservation programs, by 2026 rhino calf survival rates have increased slightly. However, the black rhino's recovery journey remains very long. When the sun sets over the African savanna, the mother rhino leads her calf to rest. Another day has passed, and another day they've survived. The calf lies close beside mother, safe and warm. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but today they've won their own battle. In the silence of the grassland, a lesson is quietly rewritten. A mother's protective instinct is strong as an unbreakable fortress. Every surviving calf is a victory, not just for the individual, but for the species' future on this planet. Under Africa's gentle moonlight, the mother rhino remains vigilant because she knows the calf beside her isn't just her offspring, but the last hope of an entire species. As the darkness finally yields to the break of dawn, the African savanna wakes up in silence. A thin mist still lingers on the dry grass. Under the sparse acacia trees, the space remains quiet. There is nothing yet to suggest that today will be any different from thousands of days before. From the bushes, a pair of golden eyes opens. Though not yet moving, the body is already in a state of readiness, not because of danger, but because of instinct. This is a land where every species participates in a common game. No rules are written, but everyone understands their boundaries. The Cape porcupine, Hystrix africa australis, moves along a path it has memorized from many nights before. Each footstep is steady, without haste. A layer of quills covering from neck to tail reaches up to 30 centimeters long. They are not for attacking, but a defense system formed through tens of millions of years of evolution. This rodent is primarily nocturnal, living in pairs or small groups. They forage on the ground, digging for roots and tubers to maintain energy. Upon detecting a strange sound, the porcupine stops abruptly. The quills on its back rise in less than a second, a reflex that requires no thought. In the ecosystem, porcupines play a significant role. Their burrows become shelters for many other species when the dry season arrives. It emerges from the burrow, lifting its head. The air carries a strange scent. Something in the distance is shifting that only its nose can perceive. Not far away, under the acacia canopy, a young individual watches. Less than 2 years old, it is making its first independent hunting decision, marking the transition from dependence to self-reliance. The leopard moves step by step, hiding itself in the grassland. The savannah does not know that a script is about to unfold, and no one can predict the outcome. It should be noted that this young leopard is in the process of maturing. All its skills need to be honed through experience, sometimes at the cost of pain. The leopard, Africa's most versatile solitary predator, capable of climbing trees, swimming, and adapting to almost any environment. This leopard lacks enough experience to distinguish familiar prey from prey that carries potential risks. It looks at the porcupine and sees only an opportunity. Each porcupine quill is a hollow keratin fiber, sharp and featuring backward-facing barbs. Once embedded in soft tissue, they pull themselves deeper with every movement of the victim. The leopard has speed, strength, and claws. The porcupine has an armor that cannot be pierced by conventional approaches. This is a match where strategy is more important than strength. The porcupine continues to move, unaware of the approaching danger. But instinct begins to register signals. The pace slows. The head tilts slightly. When the distance is 20 meters, the porcupine recognizes the change in its environment. It bristles its quills and runs toward the grass thicket ahead. The distance closes to 10 meters. The grass is still. The wind stops. In that moment, the savannah seems to hold its breath, along with the two creatures facing each other. The leopard lunges. The porcupine's reflex is instantaneous. Its back turns toward the attacker, quills standing upright like a living fence. But the leopard is too close to stop. The leopard recoils. One or two quills have pierced its front paw. It looks down, licking the paw, an action not of calm, but of confusion. The porcupine does not flee. Instead, it continuously pivots to keep the quills pointed toward its opponent. This is the optimal strategy after millions of years of evolution. The leopard continues to approach from the front, exactly the direction the porcupine is defending most strongly. It hasn't realized that the quillless part is at the head, not the rear. The second time, the leopard lunges from a side angle. The porcupine pivots in time. A quill stabs into the leopard's cheek. A short hiss, not from the porcupine. The pain is much clearer than before. But during that pivot, the porcupine failed to maintain a perfect defensive heading. A part of its body without quills was exposed for a few seconds. Fortunately, the leopard was not focused enough to capitalize. Both sides stop. The leopard breathes heavily. The porcupine still turns slowly, patiently. Neither side wants to leave first, as the price to pay grows steadily larger. The leopard begins to circle. The porcupine follows every step closely. The turning circle tightens. This is no longer a simple hunt. It is a test of patience and technique. The leopard tries a third time, this time from above, attempting to use its weight to pin the porcupine to the ground. But quills do not distinguish the angle of attack. The result remains unchanged. In a fit of desperation, the leopard bites the porcupine's body. That was the final mistake of the day. Quills embed deeply into its gums and tongue, so much so that it cannot close its mouth immediately. With quills stuck in its mouth and at least 3 others in its paws, the leopard's ability to hunt in the coming days will be severely compromised. The porcupine does not linger. It turns away in its original direction, its footsteps steady as if nothing had happened. Its body is almost entirely intact. Porcupine quills do not inject venom. Their impact comes from physical shape. The backward barbs prevent easy removal, and infection is the greatest risk for the one stuck by them. The young leopard will carry those quills for many days. Some may migrate deeper on their own. With each passing day, the pain will teach it something no book could record. In nature, predators learn through failure just as much as through success. Every wound carries information that instinct cannot provide from the start. The porcupine's survival is not accidental. It is the result of long-term natural selection, optimizing a defense mechanism without needing to actively attack. After a few days, the leopard recovers and begins a new hunt. But every time it encounters a porcupine, it remembers that battle, making it reluctant to attack. In this world, no lesson is free. The remaining question, will today's lesson be enough to change future decisions? However, this species is facing a threat that no quill can defend against: the shrinking of habitat due to human expansion. The distribution range of the African porcupine has narrowed over several decades. They are forced to move through unfamiliar environments to find food and shelter. For the leopard, the threat is similar. Both species are adjusting their behavior in a world changing faster than evolution can keep up. What happened between the leopard and the porcupine is part of a continuous chain of lessons. Nature does not teach with words, it teaches through consequences. Both species will continue to exist in their own ways. One with perfect defensive armor, the other with a painful memory newly acquired. The savannah remains the same. Nothing changes in the big picture, but at an individual level, both leave with new knowledge learned from pain. There are no absolute winners or losers in encounters like these. There are only individuals who become better suited to the world they live in. The porcupine keeps moving. The leopard will try again with a different strategy and different prey. The savannah does not judge, it only records. After today will be another new day, each species continuing to play its irreplaceable role in a system larger than any individual. And as the light of the day's end gradually blankets the savannah, this land does not remember the names of any of them, but it keeps the traces of all. Mid-morning on the African savannah, as the sun begins to pour down on the parched earth, life does not stop. It simply shifts to a different tempo. There is no shade for refuge, no place to hide completely. This is a land where every creature must expose itself to the sun and to one another. From a small burrow beneath a tree, a small head emerges. Dark, beady eyes scan the surroundings quickly. This is not curiosity, it is a survival habit repeated every day. The daytime savanna belongs to those who dare to venture out when the sun is harshest. And among them, there are encounters that neither side planned for. The Egyptian mongoose, a small carnivore widely known for a skill few others on the savanna can match, dealing with venomous snakes. Measuring about 50 centimeters long and weighing less than 2 kilograms, its reflex speed is among the fastest of any mammal of its size. The mongoose is equipped by evolution. Modified acetylcholine receptors make the cobra's neurotoxic venom act significantly slower on its body. But resistance to venom does not mean total immunity. A large enough dose or a bite in the right location can still be fatal. Not far away, a long, glossy object moves slowly through the grass. It makes no sound. Only a slight ripple on the blades of grass serves as evidence. The mongoose stops. Its nose points forward, the distinct scent of a large reptile, unmistakable for anything else on this savanna. To understand the gravity of the coming confrontation, one must look at the creature slithering toward the mongoose, one of the most dangerous and common venomous snakes of the Dark Continent. The Egyptian cobra, up to 2 meters long, capable of accurately spitting venom into an opponent's eyes from over 2 meters away. Each bite injects enough venom to take down a full-grown human. Beyond its toxicity, its main advantage is strike speed. A strike is completed in under a quarter of a second, exceeding the reflex time of many equivalent predators. However, as the opponent closes in, the strike's effectiveness decreases. Distance becomes the decisive variable governing the probability of success for both sides. The two detect each other at less than 3 meters. The mongoose lowers its body and bristles its neck fur, while the snake spreads its hood and coils its body into an S shape. Both are ready for war. This is a language both species understand without needing to learn. Every posture is a message. I am not retreating, and I am readier than you think. Both hold their positions, neither advances. This is not hesitation, it is calculation. In this battle, the one who strikes first is not necessarily the one with the advantage. The snake sways its head slowly, tracking every movement of the mongoose. This is a psychological tactic to distract the opponent, creating a moment of diverted attention to strike. The mongoose is not deceived. It moves forward half a step, then retreats. Forward, then back. Not out of fear, but to read the snake's reaction time. The snake lunges with a fast and precise strike, but misses. The mongoose evades in a split second. No one is hurt, but information has been gathered by both sides. The mongoose counterattacks immediately, without hesitation, lunging straight for the snake's neck, a strike taking less than a quarter of a second, which the mongoose has practiced since it was young. The snake breaks free and coils back instantly. Both return to their original positions. The tempo spikes. It is no longer a probe. The battle has truly begun. The snake lunges, using its strength to bite quickly toward the mongoose. The mongoose closes its eyes and turns its face back, evading perfectly. The thick facial fur acts as a second barrier. The venom clings to the surface. The snake used one of its most effective weapons and failed. The mongoose accelerates. No more stepping back and forth. This time, it is a continuous assault, forcing the snake to strike repeatedly. Every strike from the snake is an opening the mongoose is waiting for. The snake gradually loses the initiative, shifting to a coiled, defensive posture. This stance limits attack angles, but simultaneously reduces its ability to control distance. The mongoose focuses on the back of the head, the area controlling the nervous system. A precise bite here can quickly neutralize all resistance. The snake thrashes violently, trying to escape the encirclement. Its long body sweeps across, pushing the mongoose away. The mongoose is tossed back, but does not fall. All four paws hit the ground instantly. This is the moment many other predators would stop, but not the mongoose. It returns with the same speed, maintaining pressure, demonstrating a resilient strategy selected by nature. The snake strikes one last time, more accurately than before. Fangs graze the mongoose's shoulder, but the thick fur and skin block part of it. The amount of venom injected is not enough to change the outcome. The moment the snake retracts its jaws after that bite is the final opening. The mongoose does not miss. Its jaws lock onto the back of the snake's head, the target it aimed for from the start. The snake coils around the mongoose, trying to use constricting force, but the mongoose does not let go. The bite force increases steadily. This is the decisive phase. The first to lose control will lose everything. The snake's movements slow down, not from exhaustion, but because neurological damage begins to spread from the bite site. The mongoose holds its position for nearly 40 more seconds. No rush. Waiting until movement completely stops. It is extremely cautious. When the snake is entirely motionless, the mongoose still bites down hard. Nothing changes. The battle ends in a way this species has repeated thousands of times before. The entire event took under 15 minutes, but every second reflects accumulated evolutionary data. No factor depended on mere luck. The mongoose drags the snake back to its burrow, a typical behavior for the species. No victory celebration, just a necessary meal after energy has been spent. In the ecosystem, the mongoose plays the role of a natural population control for venomous snakes. No other predator in this area performs that function. But the mongoose also faces increasing pressure, shrinking habitats, dwindling water sources, and competition with larger predators. The cobra faces similar trends. Declines in many areas are mainly due to environmental changes, exceeding the short-term adaptive capacity of both species. This raises a larger question. When one of the two disappears, how will the rest of the ecosystem adjust? There is no simple answer. Today's battle is a very small part of a much larger picture. Every species in this system depends on the existence of others. The mongoose carries the snake to its burrow. There is no reason to linger. The day is still long, and the Savannah sun waits for no one. The Savannah keeps no memory of what happens upon it. The wind erases traces. The sun dries what remains, and the cycle continues the way it has always operated. These two species have coexisted on this continent for millions of years, not because of peace, but because of balance. One side is dangerous enough to force the other to evolve faster. The mongoose will return to its burrow before dark. Another cobra will emerge when the temperature drops. This loop has no beginning and no end. Of all the lessons nature can teach, perhaps the simplest is also the most difficult to grasp. No species exists alone, not even the best predator. And as the first darkness touches the horizon, the Savannah does not ask who won or lost today. It only prepares for what will happen tomorrow. A cheetah runs up, lowering head, sniffing the small, motionless companion lying on grass. No response, only wind blowing through spotted fur and silence enveloping the grassland. In the distance, two yellow shadows remain there, one individual bearing full injuries. On the plains, no victory is priceless. 2 hours earlier, early sun just touched Masai Mara grassland, and wildlife's rhythm began awakening. Under acacia canopy, a cheetah group rests with cubs. This is Zuri's family, one of Masai Mara's largest coalitions. Cheetahs are the planet's fastest big cat, speed reaching over 100 kilometers per hour. But in exchange is slender body and weak bite force, creating disadvantage in direct confrontation. Therefore, cheetahs typically form sibling coalitions, hunting and defending territory together. And Zuri's family has many adults, a rare number, strong enough to control wide territory. But even that coalition cannot protect cubs continuously. Individuals under 6 months still have high mortality rate from lions, hyenas, and birds of prey. This morning, 3 adult males left the group hunting, leaving females to protect 2 cubs, force reduced and risk immediately increased. 2 cheetah cubs are playing with rabbit carcass. Mother brought this morning, pulling, shaking, and pouncing each other. They play about 30 meters from acacia, completely losing vigilance. On empty grassland, distance becomes weakness. Group lies under tree canopy, leaving 2 cubs exposed within perfect range for opportunists. To the east, about 200 meters away in tall grass, a solitary lioness on patrol has detected movement. It lowers body, focusing completely on 2 separated cheetah cubs. Lions don't hunt cheetahs for food, but to eliminate competing rivals. This behavior is common, helping reduce future resource pressure. Distance gradually closes. Lioness creeps low, nearly invisible. while two cheetah cubs still play absorbed, not yet experienced enough to recognize threat. 20 meters. Lioness compresses muscles. Hind legs press earth. Under tree canopy, an adult cheetah raises head, scenting danger, but already too late. Lioness bursts into speed, 140 kilograms charging through low grass. Two cheetah cubs panic, running two directions, but legs not fast enough. One immediately caught in lioness's jaws. Remaining cheetah cub rushes toward two adults, caught individualized still. No response, as lioness stops and turns, head-facing charging group. Lioness doesn't retreat. It moves, holding cheetah cub like living shield, facing adult individuals growling with message. Advance further, cub will pay price. Two adult cheetahs advance few steps, then stop. They recognize the stalemate, when mass difference makes direct confrontation nearly hopeless. But cheetahs don't fight with strength, but with tactics, continuously distracting and dividing pressure from two sides to lock lioness's reaction rhythm. Harassment tactics begin. One advances forward, growling, drawing attention. Others circle behind, exploiting blind spot, forcing lioness to spin, continuously defending. Lioness gradually loses control, simultaneously holding prey in jaws while defending two sides, cannot roar or counterattack, locked in disadvantageous position. One from behind lunges, clawing lioness's flank, then immediately retreats. Lioness whips around, but gap has shifted direction while another continues closing in. After many minutes of harassment, lioness gradually exhausts from continuous spinning, jaws tired from holding prey, and calmness replaced by rage. And that's what cheetahs are waiting for. When lioness loses control, it must attack and release jaws, self-opening the mistake tactics aim for. Cheetah from behind lunges again, clawing deep into lioness's back, wounded through fur layer. Lioness roars, turns body in rage, and moment jaws open, cheetah cub falls. Lioness doesn't release from mercy, but because counterattack instinct overwhelms holding prey, immediately shifting to direct confrontation. An adult cheetah rushes to where cub just fell, lowers checking, but small body no longer responds, completely motionless. And that moment changes everything. It carries cub's body away. Eyes go cold, pack instinct fully activated. Right then, three adult cheetahs hunting return, abandoning prey immediately and charging straight back to group. Adult individuals converge, completing formation. First time lioness faces entire coalition. Cheetah group surrounds completely, eyes unblinking, bodies lowered. Force balance tilts decisively, and lioness recognizes this. Tactics upgrade. They take turns moving, forcing lioness to continuously spin left, right, behind, but every direction blocked, making encirclement increasingly tight. Attack strikes begin intensifying. Each one lunges clawing, then withdraws immediately. Not fatal, but eroding stamina through each defensive spin rhythm. Lioness roars and counterattacks, but misses. Each lunge makes it lose more strength, while opponents always stay out of reach. 10 minutes pass. Lioness gradually slows, swipes weaker, body turns heavier, and distance compressed from 5 meters down to 2. Encirclement tightens each beak. Claw marks thicken across body, not fatal, but enough to gradually drain strength. First time, lioness lowers center of gravity, shifting to defensive stance. Cheetah group recognizes the change. When the strong begin defending, battle has reversed. Attack rhythm increases, pressure pushed even higher. But battle will stop there. On Masai Mara, no creature is completely alone, and lioness is no exception. Earlier roar has echoed farther than cheetah group's calls. Ground trembles slightly. From the east, a deep, heavy roar tears through plains, bringing massive yellow shadow charging, dark black mane, rippling muscles, answering the call and advancing straight into battle. Cheetah group immediately flees in unison. Balance completely shifts. What they dared do against exhausted lioness, one miss, cannot apply before two powerful hunters. Male lion stands beside mate, not roaring, not pursuing, only silently staring straight at cheetah group, and that presence enough to close the battle. Cheetah group backs away. No more attacking, no more encircling. When coalition faces coalition, bene. They cannot defeat two lions. Afternoon sun descends on Masai Mara. Male lion lies licking wounds for lioness. Claw marks will heal, but lesson remains. The strong can still be eroded by numbers. And cheetahs also carry their own lesson. Coalition can erode solitary lioness, but cannot win when male lion appears. Each survival layer has limits. On this vast plain, conflict between lions and cheetahs occurs nearly daily, an arms race lasting millions of years. But today is exceptional. Rarely do cheetahs dare ambush, pressing lion into defense. Zuri's family transcended instinct, attacking the stronger. Price of ambush clear on both sides. Lioness weakened, requiring rescue. Cheetah group lost cub, a future link in Zuri's family, never given chance to mature. In nature, all behavior aligns with survival instinct. Lions eliminate potential rivals, while cheetahs protect next generation. No good or evil exists, only selection and consequence. Abandoned cub carcass will quickly attract vultures, insects, and microorganisms, initiating decomposition process, an essential link in nutrient cycle. Zuri's family begins stabilizing. Adult individual surrounding, cub at center, shielded, minimizing separation risk to maximum. Two lions still there. Lioness rests lying down, male stands guard beside. They'll return to territory tomorrow morning and continue patrol. At conflict point, grass gradually stands back up. Blood seeps into earth, first scattered by wind. By tomorrow morning, traces will nearly vanish, only a few strands remaining. Survival on plains is problem without answer. Strength beats numbers, numbers beat individual, then coalition defeated by larger coalition. Somewhere on Masai Mara tonight, Zuri's family will lie close together under starry sky. Entire group will surround remaining cub in defensive formation. Evening wind blows across Masai Mara, carrying scent of wet grass and earth dust. Claw marks on lioness's back have dried, while cheetah cub carcass gradually covered by ants, all traces fading with time. But lesson not erased. Lioness becomes more cautious when facing large cheetah groups, while Zuri's group keeps cubs close to formation, each side accumulating experience from their own scars. As last light leaves Masai Mara, planes sink into invisible sounds, where just 1 second of carelessness can trade for irretrievable loss. The price for those who start conflict sometimes is those who must pay most dearly. In the scorching semi-desert, a pit viper lies motionless on a rock. 2 heat-sensing pits between its eyes and nostrils continuously scanning the environment around it. In its world, every warm-blooded creature appears as a moving point of light against the cool stone. Mice, lizards, and ground-foraging birds alike. A mouse steps out from a thorn bush about 30 centimeters away, completely silent. But the faint heat radiating from its body is already clearly visible in the predator's sensory system. The snake strikes with blinding speed, fangs driving precisely into the mouse's neck before the prey even has time to realize when it was first detected. The venom begins breaking down the prey's tissue from the inside. By the time the snake swallows, decomposition has already run ahead of the stomach. As swallowing begins, the snake's flexible jaw gradually widens to draw the entire mouse body inward in slow but precise alternating contractions. But heat sensing is not the only way snakes dominate the ground. Elsewhere, a giant hunts using nothing but muscle and patience sustained over hours. In the dry season, beside a river, most of the African rock python's body lies submerged in the mud at the water's edge, exposing only its eyes as it waits quietly for prey to draw near. A herd of impala slowly approaches the waterline. One female separates from the group and lowers her head to drink right at the edge of the mud, the exact spot where the python has been lying in ambush all morning. The mud surface explodes as the python launches upward, its backward curving teeth locking onto the prey's neck, while rings of muscle instantly coil around the ribcage, completely suppressing any movement. No crushing of bones, no tearing of flesh. It simply locks down each breath in turn until the impala goes still and the water's edge sinks back into silence. The python widens its jaws and alternately draws each section of the impala's body into its stomach over nearly an hour before lying motionless to digest over the following weeks. The python slides into the water, half submerged, eyes closed. Powerful stomach acid will dissolve bones, horn, and hooves. But this requires days of total stillness, and that is also the moment of greatest vulnerability. Across the savannah, not every snake needs to crush its prey to death. Some need only a single bite for neurotoxic venom to complete the rest of the hunt. The black mamba, nearly 3 meters long, with extreme speed on the ground and enough venom to kill animals many times its own size. This afternoon, a mamba is moving through low grass when a secretary bird spots it and blocks its path with thick scaled legs built for hunting snakes. The mamba immediately raises its head and opens its characteristically black mouth, while the secretary bird slowly circles just outside striking range, forcing its opponent to constantly pivot to track it. The mamba suddenly strikes forward, but the bird sidesteps and delivers a thundering kick to the fully extended body. The mamba strikes again, this time low and close to the ground, targeting the unscaled thigh of the secretary bird. Its fangs find their mark, causing the bird to recoil, its steps beginning to falter. The secretary bird gradually withdraws from the confrontation and turns to leave, the first time it has chosen to retreat. The mamba lowers its head and glides away in the opposite direction, letting the venom complete the rest. But not every confrontation with a mamba ends cleanly. This morning, a brown eagle nearly paid with its life after letting a black mamba coil tight around its wing. The mamba could not find an angle to bite through the thick neck feathers. It loosens its coils to reposition, and the eagle immediately seizes the opening, wings beating erratically as it breaks free from the ground. Those are three capabilities that snakes have evolved to dominate the ground. But evolution did not stop there. In the tropical rainforest of Southeast Asia, one species has left the ground behind entirely. Tropical rainforest blanketed in dense leaf canopy and heat rising from the warm earth below. On a branch 30 meters up, a slender green body lies motionless in the light filtering through the canopy. The flying snake has no wings and no gliding membrane, but when it launches from a branch, its body flattens, beflattens, and spreads wide, then glides through the open air like a living ribbon through the ancient forest. 10 meters, then 15 meters, it glides between canopy layers without touching the ground, faster than climbing and safer than descending into a world full of predators below. Landing on a branch, the flying snake coils itself, flicks its tongue to pick up scent, then follows a lizard through the canopy, a race between wingless creatures. But whether hunting by gliding, constricting, or striking, every snake faces the same challenge: swallowing prey whole and intact without hands to tear it apart or teeth to chew. Beyond hunting, snakes possess another trait rarely found elsewhere in the animal kingdom: shedding their entire old skin in a single piece from head to tail. Rubbing its head against rough rock and then pushing forward, the old skin gradually inverts and peels back, revealing a fresh layer of bright new scales beneath. Shedding is not only about allowing the body to continue growing, it also eliminates parasites, bacteria, and accumulated damage, like a rebirth from within the old skin. In the days before shedding, they are nearly blind as the old skin covers their eyes, making the body sluggish and more vulnerable to attack than at any other time. For this reason, they typically hide in rock crevices, dark burrows, or hollow tree bases for many days at a stretch, until the old skin has fully slipped away and their eyes are ready for the next hunt. Heat sensing, constriction, venom injection, aerial gliding, swallowing prey whole, or shedding an entire skin. Any one of these abilities alone is enough for a snake to dominate its own environment. In the semi-desert, the pit viper still lies on the warm rock, waiting for the next heat signature. Farther on, the rock python with a belly stretched tight and heavy after its hunt. Elsewhere on the savannah, the black mamba has vanished into the low grass, while the flying snake continues to coil among the canopy of the tropical rainforest. On the dry rock, the shed skin lies behind like a final trace of one act of rebirth before ants drag it away and it disappears entirely from nature. Over 3,000 species of snakes exist across nearly every continent. No legs, no wings, no external ears, yet older than most mammal species alive today. What they share is a body that never stops growing. After each shed, bones lengthen, muscles thicken, and the new version is always larger than before. The pit viper that hunts mice today will one day hunt rabbits. The mamba will eventually bring down an eagle in the next confrontation. Every living snake is a draft of a larger version to come. And somewhere on this planet, an egg has just cracked open, a forked tongue tasting the air for the first time before learning how to hunt and survive. Within a few weeks, it will strike for the first time, constrict for the first time, swallow for the first time. And if it survives the first year, the first shed skin will be smaller than a human hand. The final one may stretch longer than 5 meters. They leave behind no roar and no territory to assert their existence. Only shed skins as evidence that the body continues to grow after each act of survival. When the last ray of sunlight leaves the ground, the wind carries a thin, light snakeskin drifting across the grassland. It will tear and vanish, but the creature that shedded it has already grown larger and is moving on toward the next hunt. Seen from above, Komodo Island appears as a strip of dry brown land amid blue water, where cracked rock and scorched yellow grass shimmer under midday heat waves. Beneath low scrub, a Komodo dragon nearly 3 meters long lies with gray-black scales reflecting the sun, eyes half closed, but a body that has never truly rested. The Komodo's hunt begins with an extraordinary sense of smell, its forked tongue continuously sampling the air and building a scent map across the roof of its mouth. This morning, the Komodo follows a scent trail through dry brush, stepping slowly and evenly toward a Timor deer grazing in an open clearing. When the distance narrows to just a few meters, the Komodo presses itself flat, nearly 3 meters of camouflage against brown rock, while the deer raises its head and looks the other way, unaware of the danger closing in. Then the giant lizard suddenly lunges, clamping onto the prey's hind leg, its serrated teeth tearing through flesh and driving saliva, containing tissue-destroying proteins and anticoagulants deep into the wound. The deer wrenches free and limps away, while the Komodo simply stands and waits as the compounds in its saliva begin to impair the wound's ability to clot effectively. The Komodo slowly follows the scent trail of blood across hot rock and dry grass, because its hunt is measured not in minutes, but in hours. 2 hours later, the deer moves more slowly, its legs swollen and red, its eyes glazed. The bite wound is inflamed by unclotting blood, the body steadily drained of strength under the midday sun. The Komodo steps gradually closer to the exhausted prey as the swollen red legs can no longer carry it away from the gray shadow pressing ever nearer. Serrated teeth clamp deep into the injured leg, tearing through soft tissue until the deer convulses a few final times and goes still beneath the blazing sun. The Komodo begins tearing into the softest section of the belly, swallowing large chunks of flesh as the scent of fresh blood quickly spreads far on the hot wind radiating across the island. And that scent does not only draw other Komodo dragons. From the scrub not far away, a long, dark brown body glides slowly through dry leaves, moving toward the deer carcass. A spitting cobra, nearly 2 meters long, gradually raises the front of its body in response to the unfamiliar creature appearing in its territory. The Komodo immediately stops feeding, its tongue flickering continuously to read the scent, then slowly turns its head and advances toward the snake rearing up on the hot ground. The cobra spreads its hood wide and issues a threat display. The Komodo shifts its angle of approach, avoiding driving straight at the opponent's most dangerous section. The cobra strikes, but its fangs cannot penetrate the thick neck scales. The instant the snake's body is fully extended, the Komodo clamps onto the midsection. The snake coils back up around the Komodo's neck. The giant lizard shakes violently and repeatedly to break the grip before the snake can tighten its hold further. On the most forceful lunge, the cobra's head slams against the hard rock surface, causing the coil to loosen, giving the Komodo the opening it needs to take full control. The snake weakens rapidly. The Komodo begins stretching its throat wide, gradually pulling the prey's body downward. On this arid island, no piece of flesh goes to waste. It settles to rest, eyes closed with a stretched bellyful. But on this island, being full does not mean being safe. On Komodo Island, the venom lies in the saliva. But in the tropical forest on the other side of the Pacific, there is a creature that carries its weapon directly in its fangs, and it is no larger than a human hand. In the tropical forests of Brazil, a wandering spider covered in brown hair moves slowly across a layer of fallen leaves, heading toward a small lizard clinging beside a tree root. The lizard detects the danger and immediately flees across the damp forest floor. But the 8-legged spider accelerates and maintains close pursuit even as the prey changes direction. When the distance is close enough, the spider rears up its front body and lunges forward, its fangs driving into the prey and rapidly delivering venom into the body. The venom spreads quickly, causing the lizard to convulse violently for a few seconds before all muscles seize and it goes still on the damp fallen leaves. The spider does not chew its prey. It secretes digestive enzymes to break down soft tissue into liquid form, then draws the nutrients back into its body through its curved fangs. Leaving the dried carcass on the leaf litter, it continues roaming through the forest with fangs always ready for the next hunt, requiring no fixed shelter. But venom does not only exist in tropical forests or on hot islands. Even in the most arid places on the planet, creatures carry an extremely potent chemical weapon. In the semi-desert of the Middle East, a death stalker lies beneath a hot rock with its curved tail poised. A scorpion that possesses one of the most powerful venoms in the world. When the ground cools slightly, the scorpion slowly crawls out, using the extraordinarily sensitive sensory hairs across its body to read the vibrations traveling through the sand. A cricket stands motionless on dry ground, and from the barely perceptible vibrations transmitted through the earth, the deathstalker has already rotated its body toward the exact direction of the prey. The stinger drives down at extreme speed before the cricket can react, the venom taking effect immediately. The prey seizes and goes still on the hot sand. Just about 7 centimeters long, the deathstalker scorpion still possesses extremely potent venom, demonstrating that small size does not equal low danger. It quickly consumes the prey, then continues moving across the dry sand with its tail always raised and ready. Each different environment produces different hunting strategies, where saliva, venomous fangs, or a stinger each become a survival tool for the predator. The Brazilian wandering spider with its prey, fangs delivering venom, mouth secreting digestive enzymes. While the deathstalker needs only one highly concentrated drop of venom to bring down prey many times its own size. Different strategies, but all built on the same foundation, venom, refined by evolution to suit each specific habitat and hunting style. On the island, the Komodo lies in the rock's shadow with a stretched belly full and will not feed again for many weeks. But the tongue still collects scent samples from the wind. In the tropical forests of Brazil and across the arid land, other hunters have also returned to a state of waiting. A single small vibration is all it takes to trigger the next hunt. Ants carry the carcasses away, and the bodies brought down by venom will continue to nourish the soil. The soil will nourish the grass will nourish the deer, and the deer will nourish the Komodo. But even predators were once prey. On Komodo Island, young Komodo dragons often climb trees to avoid adult individuals that hunt their own kind. On Komodo Island, another Timor deer steps across the very same clearing. And not far ahead, a hunter's eyes have already locked onto its every footfall. Wind sweeps across different territories, carrying away footprints and bloodstains. But the bones left behind are still signals that predators read in their own way. Venom carriers leave no traces. They leave only the empty space where the prey once stood and the silence that arrives too quickly in the wild. The sun still pours down on hot ground. The forest still holds its moisture, and the arid lands still burn. Somewhere close to the surface, another hunt is quietly beginning. A small vibration travels through sand, dry leaf, or bare earth, and somewhere on this planet, a creature has just entered a predator's range without knowing it. Through the curtain of mangrove roots, woven together like giant fingers piercing the mud where light only trickles through narrow crevices, a footstep sounds that does not belong to a human. It is not the sound of the incoming tide, nor is it the sound of fish leaping on the creek's surface. It is the sound of the predator that has turned the Sundarbans into a domain where no one dares to set foot alone. The Sundarbans does not exist to welcome. It exists to test every creature that enters, including us. And those who do not understand this usually do not get a second chance to learn. Welcome to the Sundarbans. Not just a forest, not just a river. This is the world's largest tidal labyrinth, where the boundary between land and water shifts every 6 hours. A place where maps are meaningless because the terrain changes twice a day, and every time the tide ebbs, a new land is revealed, along with everything waiting upon it. Here, humans are merely uninvited guests. Hundreds have entered the Sundarbans and never walked out. The forest does not explain. The forest only remains silent. Before stepping deeper into this journey, if you carry within you a sense of awe for the wild, subscribe now so you don't miss anything ahead. Because what lies ahead is not a nature exploration. It is a confrontation with a land that even the tide does not dare to stay in for too long. If the Sundarbans had a soul, that soul would wear black and orange stripes and swim through salty creeks as if water were never a barrier. This is the Bengal tiger, the only lord who knows he doesn't need to run to kill. Weighing over 220 kilograms with a bite force of more than 450 kilograms, the Bengal tiger can haul prey twice its body weight across flooded mudflats without missing a beat. But the tiger's true role is not that of a destroyer. The tiger is the architect of the Sundarbans, controlling the spotted deer populations, keeping the mangrove vegetation from being grazed to exhaustion. Sundarbans tigers do not hunt like tigers anywhere else. They swim across wide creeks, approaching prey from the water, a direction from which no animal here is on guard. They are also the only tigers in the world that have learned to drink brackish water, adapting to an environment where no other tiger could survive for more than a few days. Only about 100 Bengal tigers remain in the Sundarbans. Rising sea levels are submerging their territory, and no tiger can negotiate with the tide. As the forest sinks, tigers are forced onto smaller islands, closer to villages, closer to humans, and that never ends well for either side. The tiger vanishes into the shadows like a dissipating ripple. The Sundarbans fall silent again, but beneath the water, something more ancient is beginning to stir. If the tiger is the soul of the forest, the saltwater crocodile is the memory of the ocean, the largest of the crocodilian family, born from a time before the earth knew man. Over 6 meters long, weighing more than a ton, the Sundarbans saltwater crocodile is the largest living reptile on Earth, and its bite force can crush steel-hard bone. The crocodile is the monitor of the Sundarbans' water quality. Their leftovers feed decomposing bacteria, enriching the mud, the foundation upon which the entire mangrove ecosystem exists. Saltwater crocodiles do not need to chase. They lie in wait right at the intersection of bank and water, where every creature, sooner or later, must pass to drink. When the tide rises, crocodiles follow the water deep into the forest, approaching prey that never imagined danger could come from within the heart of the mangrove trees. Sundarbans' saltwater crocodiles are being hunted for their skin and meat. Simultaneously, upstream pollution is poisoning the food chain. The apex predator always receives the highest accumulation of toxins. This species once dominated every estuary from India to Australia. Now, only small populations cling to waters that humans have not yet reached. The tide begins to ebb, Narrow creeks reveal mudflats still drenched in water, and upon them, smaller, lighter footprints are moving toward the shore. Amidst the land specialized in darkness and danger, the spotted deer is the only thing that dares to bring light. Shimmering white spots like fallen stars, lost in a labyrinth of roots and mud. Spotted deer have no claws or fangs, no armored scales. Their strength lies elsewhere. A sense of smell that detects a tiger from 300 meters, a speed of 65 kilometers per hour, and the ability to swim across salt creeks without losing their way. The spotted deer is the seeding machine of the Sundarbans. As they eat fruit and move through dozens of creeks daily, they carry mangrove seeds to new mudflats, building the forest with every step they take. Spotted deer live by a collective warning system. One head snaps up. The whole herd stands still. One alarm call, the entire herd scatters in all directions in an instant, without needing to see the enemy. And when a tiger enters a creek to approach from the water, the spotted deer have a distinct reaction. They don't run to the shore, but run straight into the water, swimming to the opposite bank. But the spotted deer are losing their foraging mudflats as the tide rises higher each year. Fewer mudflats mean less food, and a weaker herd is an easier meal for the tiger. As deer numbers drop, tigers are pushed closer to villages for food. A cycle of tragedy where the starting point is not the tiger, not the deer, but us. The spotted deer vanish into the shadows of the trees. The sound of wind through the mangroves replaces all other noise, and the Sundarbans reminds us everything here is connected. But the story of the Sundarbans is not just the story of 3 species. When the tide rises for the second time in a day, an invisible system begins to operate, more complex than any city humans have ever built. Every creek is a corridor. Every mudflat is a restaurant. Every mangrove tree is an apartment floor. And the tide is the manager, deciding who gets to eat, who must wait, and who must run. Tiger, crocodile, spotted deer. No species exists independently. They are bound together by the same breath, the rhythm of the rising and falling tide every 6 hours, without cease, without exception. And at a deeper level of the Sundarbans, where light never reaches, there is another world breathing to its own rhythm, slower, more patient, and more terrifying. The second dawn. The tide ebbs. The mudflats are revealed, wet and exposed. This is the most dangerous time of day in the Sundarbans, when everyone needs to eat and the space for refuge shrinks to zero. The spotted deer herd moves out onto the mudflat to forage. This is when they are most vulnerable. No forest for cover, no water to swim across. Only mud, open space, and a 360-degree view. The tiger was here before the deer even stepped out, not because of luck, but because the Sundarbans tiger memorizes the tidal rhythm like its own hunting map. One deer raises its head, snorts, stands still. The wind shifts, and in that split second, the Sundarbans holds its breath. The entire mudflat stands between 2 possibilities. Nothing happens, or everything happens at once. The tiger does not move. The wind shifts again. The deer lowers its head to continue eating, unaware that the decision of life and death was just made, not by itself, but by the direction of the wind. The crocodile entered the creek before dawn. It lies exactly at the point the deer often use to cross to the opposite bank. This is not a coincidence. This is the accumulated experience of 10 million years of evolution. The herd begins to move toward the creek. The crocodile does not move. The tiger begins to advance slowly from behind. The Sundarbans is setting a trap without walls, only silence. A sound from the opposite bank. The lead deer stops. Then everything breaks loose. Mud splatters, water splashes, and the Sundarbans once again settles everything in its own way. The survivor is not the fastest or the strongest. The survivor is the one who reads the Sundarbans, understanding that danger never comes from one direction, but from all directions at once. And the loser will vanish with the rising tide, leaving no trace, leaving no cry. The Sundarbans keeps no evidence of what has occurred in its darkness. Everything you have just witnessed is not violence. It is a language. The only language the Sundarbans knows how to use to speak to every living creature within it. The tiger keeps the deer from staying too long in one place. The deer help the forest disperse seeds. The crocodile enriches the mud, and the mud feeds the forest. The forest feeds all. This is not a food chain. This is a contract. The Sundarbans is not just a forest. It is a climate shield, absorbing 4 times more carbon than a typical rainforest, protecting the coastlines of tens of millions of people from storms and tsunamis. And when one link disappears, when the tiger is gone, when the crocodile is gone, when the deer are gone, that million-year contract will break. Along with it, the shield protecting millions of people will shatter as well. But the most dangerous creature in the Sundarbans has no fangs or claws. It has no armored scales. It cannot swim across salty creeks. The most dangerous creature arrives with motorboats and electric saws. Rising sea levels caused by emissions from places thousands of kilometers away from the Sundarbans are drowning the forest meter by meter every year. And no tiger, no crocodile can stop the tide that grows ever higher. Each year, the Sundarbans loses an area equivalent to thousands of football fields. And with every piece of forest lost, a part of the coastal protection system for tens of millions of people in Bangladesh and India also disappears. And the price to be paid is not just for nature. Fishermen lose their grounds, farmers lose their land, and the men who enter the forest to gather honey increasingly do not return. When the tiger's roar fades into the forest mist, when the crocodile sinks into the dark creek, when the spotted deer vanish into the shadows, the Sundarbans returns to its primal breath. The remaining question is not what we have discovered. It is, when the tide rises high enough to wipe out this forest, what will we use to shield ourselves? What will we have left when the Sundarbans no longer stands between us and the ocean, when the final shield finally breaks? The Sundarbans is still here, still breathing to the rhythm of the tide, still keeping secrets of what moves in its darkness. But for how much longer is a question only we can answer. If this journey made you look back, not just at the Sundarbans, but at yourself, leave a comment below. The Sundarbans needs more than just people who know it exists. And see you again in the next fierce arenas of survival, where nature doesn't ask if you are ready, and the answer must come before the question even echoes.